What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dean, aka the Blue Crusader, and welcome back to today's video. So in today's video I would be lying if I said I wasn't excited to be making it, because we're actually going to be looking at the most shameless rip-offs of video games out there. So we're going to be looking at some shameless video game rip-offs. Currently the background footage of this video is going to be some WoW, aka World of Warcraft, Battle for Azeroth, but we're going to be talking about some of the most shameless game rip-offs because I was looking at some of these the other day and I've had the idea to make this video for a long time. I do also have a video or two up about talking about the most shameless movie rip-offs, so if you're interested in looking at some of the worst movie rip-offs of Pacific Rim, rip-offs of Judgment Day, things like that, definitely do check out that video. You can check those out on the channel, most shameless movie rip-offs. But today we're going to be talking about the most shameless video game rip-offs, because there's so many games that are just direct copies and just rips of games. So I'm going to be reading off some various sources here, and the first one is a game called Nova. Now, a lot of people said that this is a rip-off of Halo. At first I didn't see it. Now that they're providing other screenshots, I kind of do see it. It kind of just looks like a generic sci-fi game, so I wasn't really sure if it was a copy, but here on the source IGN it says Gameloft has created a new handheld empire by hacking up ultra-popular AAA games, slapping mustaches on the main characters, and then handing the soulless remains over to mobile platforms. Nova is essentially Halo, right down to the identical weapon models and holographic female sidekick. Okay, so I wasn't really sure if this was a rip-off, but as you guys know, if you've played Halo, there's actually an AI character called Cortana, and basically AI means artificial intelligence, and she's kind of like a holographic sort of character who you can insert into your suit, you can talk to over a connection, and she's a main part of the story, and she mostly tells you what to do, and her voice is in like all the missions on the Halo games. Basically, this game called Nova, that's apparently a rip-off of Halo, not only do the weapon models have likeness to the original Halo games, this game also has an AI female character like Cortana in the game and the story, so obviously there's a red flag there. I understand why that might be a rip-off. And then it says, when confronted about its incredibly obvious antics, Gameloft alleged that the gaming industry's palette of themes is limited, resulting in maybe one new idea a year, which basically assumes that the industry's creativity is bankrupt. So basically they're saying just because there's like odd new ideas here and there, they basically using this as an excuse, saying that everybody's creatively bankrupt so they can just rip off ideas. And this is all alleged, by the way. Every opinion in this video, a little bit of a disclaimer here, every opinion in this video is alleged, every opinion is not fact, and every opinion is mine or related to the sources and should not be related to actual factual information. So these are just opinions, they may not be accurate, and don't take them as so, because obviously I don't want to get sued. This is just a funny video. So moving on, there's a thin line between taking an idea and developing it and merely just taking an idea. So apparently this company is absolutely just ripped off Halo, and I can understand, mainly because a lot of the story elements and characters are there. I don't think this is the biggest rip-off, but I can really understand why this might be a rip-off. Moving on, now you know that basically Minecraft has had so many rip-offs in the past. In fact, I'll probably end up making a video about the most shameless Minecraft rip-offs, because Minecraft is probably one of the most ripped off games in the whole industry. There's so many different games, there's like Fortress Craft, Castle Craft, Miner Builder, and all these like random generic games that just look exactly the same as Minecraft. There's so many like weird Minecraft clones that look exactly the same, but they have like really good graphics, or the concept is the same. Well, basically there's actually a rip-off here, and I'm looking at the same source over on IGN, and there's actually a rip-off called Total Miner Forge, but there's also many different ones. Now, Keemstar, the YouTuber, is actually known to have made a lot of money off one of these rip-offs, allegedly, and he said that he made a lot of his riches and most of his money off his first investment in the game called Fortress Craft. So he made a lot of his money off this game called Fortress Craft. I'm pretty sure he made like maybe 600k or like $1 million from this. Like, his life changed literally overnight from the earnings from this Xbox Live game. So basically, obviously Xbox didn't have Minecraft available at the time. Now you can get it on Xbox One, you can get it on Xbox 360. But back in the day, Minecraft wasn't available on these platforms. So it kind of made sense that copies of Minecraft could thrive on these platforms, because the actual real version wasn't available to console gamers. Well, that's where they actually intercepted and brought Fortress Craft to life, and some of these other games. We have Castle Miner Z, and we have Total Miner Forge, which are also rip-offs. But games like Fortress Craft and these other games really took advantage of this, and this is why they made so much money, because people didn't have the option to buy Minecraft back in these days. So it's understandable why a lot of these copies came to console, but there's so many copies still going up on the Steam marketplace, there's so many copies going up online, that really it kind of makes me wonder, are people actually running out of ideas like they said before? It really makes me wonder if people's creativity is definitely bankrupted, like they mentioned before in the previous excuse for that Nova game. So the next video game ripoff is also another comical one. There is actually a game called Pokemon Go, which is actually like a famous, real, official Pokemon game. Like, basically it's an app on mobile. Most of you guys probably know what it is because it was a huge craze last year. But basically it's an app on mobile that uses your GPS to track like all the streets and all the places near you. And what you can do is you can actually catch different Pokemon, and using your camera and your GPS information, it can actually put Pokemon on your screen in front of like a location. So it'll show your camera feed on the screen of you maybe looking at a street, and then on your screen you'll see the street, but it'll put like a Pokemon on it or something, and then you can capture it as part of the game. So it's kind of like an IRL Pokemon hunting game. Well, basically there's actually a game that's ripped this off. So there's basically a game called Pokeballs Training. Now I guess it couldn't really get that much worse as a rip-off. In my opinion, with a title this bad, like a title that's so close to the original, I think this must be a fan game. There's no way someone's getting away with that name officially unless you're like living in China and just getting past all the copyright laws. But it says here, literally all of the Pokemons on this game look like the real Pokemons, like literally Pikachu, Snorlax, all these like actual Pokemons they actually look like, but they look like crazy like demonic versions, like they're possessed. But the models in the game aren't actually that bad. Like the game still looks pretty decent, I'm not gonna lie. Like there's a screenshot here I'll just show you on screen that I found from an article. The gameplay and the models, they don't look terrible, but like they look like the real thing, but kind of modified a bit to look more evil. So, but the graphics aren't really a problem. I mean, it did say in the article I was looking at that the graphics were an issue. In my opinion, the graphics aren't bad, especially because this is a mobile game. Like, even though the technology is advancing, you really don't expect mobile games to be like the future or have any high-tech graphics or anything like that. But it says this isn't Pokemon Go. And apparently, according to this, the physics aren't like Pokemon Go either. It's completely useless. Apparently, you can throw Pokeballs at Pokemon in a knockoff, but the physics don't even work. The thing is with this is the app really has no place in the marketplace on any like platform or any device. Maybe if you use it on PC it'd be quite fun, but then again you can't really hunt down real Pokemon in real time on PC. But I don't know how Pokeballs Training actually works. Like, does this game actually use GPS tracking? Is it like Pokemon Go, or is it just another Pokemon game? Because it would be kind of hard to bring the whole infrastructure to a new Pokemon game, and also it really make no sense for this to be on like any mobile platform, because Pokemon Go is already available, the giant, the actual real version, and the actual fun version, so there'd be no reason to actually go to a knockoff. But if you guys have played any of these games in this video, do let me know if they're actually any good, and do let me know if you've actually tried any of them, because I'm really interested. Okay, so the next one is really funny. I'm not sure if it's like a rip-off or I'm not sure if it's a joke, because to me it kind of seems like a joke, but then again I'm not quite sure. There's this game basically called Final Combat, right? So, most of you guys have probably heard of the game Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2 is a huge arena FPS combat game. Online, you can play with different classes. You can play like Sniper, Soldier with rockets and things like that. It's basically a really popular game, guys. Well, basically, this game called Final Combat has ripped off Team Fortress 2 more than any game could rip off a game. We have even the same style of promotional material they're using in this game. So basically, the game really kicks off with being just a clone of Team Fortress 2. There's no real values that are unique. There's nothing really that's great about it. I would actually like to make a video playing some of these rip-offs though, because that'd be actually really funny to make like a series playing a lot of these rip-offs. I might actually do that. But basically, this game has the most generic classes. It has like Rocketeer, it has Fat Man, and the thing is like, Fat Man is supposed to be like a rip-off of the Heavy in Team Fortress 2, you know, the big guy with a minigun. But it's kind of like a cross between the Heavy and the Medic, if they had like some weird strange love child, because literally like the Fat Man is like some fat Heavy, but then he's like the Medic, so he's kind of like a fat Heavy Medic. And I'll show a picture on the screen for you guys because it's such a meme at this point. But basically it's like the Medic if you put on like 300 pounds of weight, and I don't know, it's just funny. And the thing about this game is they even use, like I said before, the same promotional material. So literally like they have these videos called Meet The, there's a series in TF2 or Team Fortress 2 basically called like Meet the, and then there's a class, so like Meet the Engineer, Meet the Heavy, and it kind of just has like a little narrative, so it'll show like the class in action and then the actual character of the class talking, and there'll be like a little narrative behind it.
I am heavy weapons guy. And this is my weapon.
Basically, this game, Final Combat, has copied not just the game, but the entire concept of the Meet the Class series. So they have Meet the Fat Man as a video, which I'm just going to show here. But yeah, like I said, if you watch that video, pretty comical. The Fat Man class is basically like a fat medic, but he also looks like a builder, but he's also the heavy at the same time, so it's like, there's no other way you could rip off this game that'd make it more of a rip off. It's kind of upsetting at this point, but it's pretty funny. But yeah, this is obviously an Asian rip-off, because the only place you could get away with ripping off a game this much is obviously China, because of the lack of laws there and the copyright laws. But I just thought this was really funny, so let me know what you guys think about Final Combat. So the next rip-off is actually a game called Legend of Titan. Now, I've seen so many people talk about this. I saw a YouTuber called The Lazy Peon talk about this, who also does WoW videos, or at least used to. He does MMO videos, but I did actually see one of his most popular videos was a rip-off of this. That's basically where I actually first heard about this, but there's actually a game called Legend of Titan, and this is the biggest Overwatch ripoff I've ever seen. So Overwatch in itself isn't really that much of a unique concept, it's just an FPS game in an arena. But when you really take copying to the next level, this is the result you get, because basically this game called Legend of Titan not only just rips off Overwatch as a concept, it literally rips entire models, gun models, characters, classes out of the Overwatch files and puts them in this game. So they've literally like ripped the models or remade them to look exactly like them. I would presume that they're literally stealing the models because they look exactly the same, but I don't know. And they'll like slightly colour them differently, or they'll just leave them the same, and it's really shameless. Like everything is crazy like the same, but basically every aspect of the game is stolen. And the game is so much like Overwatch itself that allegedly even Activision being, you know, Blizzard's part of Activision now, even Activision's Blizzard and Activision actually had to take down some of these videos because they were infringing the copyright, and it looked so much like Overwatch that they didn't want the customers to actually confuse them. And although I guess they can't really take action against the game itself, they could actually take the videos down. So I'm glad they took the videos down, but this is kind of so funny. I'll show some footage now just so you can see this game. So allegedly the actual developers, when asked why it was such a big copy and why there were so many things alike to Overwatch, apparently they actually said here that they were using this game model to test out their technology on their engine, and the game wasn't actually supposed to turn out like this. And the video is a tech demo for the game using placeholder art and concepts. Everything will be made more original when it's released. So what they're basically saying is this game is just a test of their engine. They're going to make a game like Overwatch, but they're using their models and ripping off more of their visuals just to test out what it would be like on their engine. In my opinion, this is kind of a real bad excuse, because they literally released the game and they made the game playable with all these stolen assets and stolen concepts. So if you were just testing it, why wouldn't you either release it as a beta to a closed group of testers, or maybe just test it yourself until you realise it's good enough? I don't know, kind of a bad excuse in my opinion. The next game ripoff is kind of not really so bad, but it's also quite funny, and this is listed on a lot of different sources when I was researching all these ripoff games. Basically, there's a game called Super Mario Brothers. You've probably never heard of it, probably the most irrelevant game out there. Obviously you guys have heard of Super Mario Brothers. Basically it's a platformer game from Nintendo, and it was like released in the 80s or something. All the classic Super Marios, in my opinion, are actually the best of the games. But basically, imagine Super Mario Brothers, but instead of playing the Super Mario Brothers, you play like half reject sisters instead. And this is basically the outcome of this game. So there's a game that's ripping off Super Mario Brothers called The Great Giana Sisters. And this isn't just like a new rip-off, because people have ripped off Super Mario for years. People have used the Super Mario concept just to learn how to make video games or just make a similar game. Nothing usually wrong with that at all, because it's just a basic platformer concept. But when you actually release a rip-off in 1987, around about the time of Super Mario Bros. Original release, you're kind of pushing it a bit, and this is where Super Giana Sisters actually comes into play. And what they've done is they've even done the same sort of style of bricks that you jump above and hit. They've even got like owls instead of Goombas or something. Goombas obviously being those like brown enemies you jump on in Super Mario. They've even got like owls instead, and it says here, imagine a game where you play as a sibling, this source being Looper, who's travelled to a strange land to save someone you love. Along the way, you'll jump on enemies, collect coins, break blocks, so you're literally collecting coins and breaking blocks like Mario, and collect power-ups from mystery boxes. So they've even copied the concept of like the mystery boxes where you jump and get power-ups. Mario, obviously, you can turn into like a raccoon and shoot like fireballs and things like that. You're thinking about the classic Commodore 64 game, Commodore 64 being the console, The Great Giana Sisters. Apparently though, this game was so much alike Super Mario Brothers that Nintendo actually pulled this game from stores. So it was such a rip-off that Nintendo actually used their power, or had enough power to literally just wipe this game from existence. So this game wasn't sold because it was such a copy, and I can see why. But apparently the music in this game was really good, so I'm really interested to actually have a look and see if the music is good. So the next one is a more popular ripoff, if you like, and actually a great game in my opinion, so I'm not going to go too hard on this. There's actually a game called Crazy Taxi, so you guys probably know what that is. You ride a taxi, you've got missions, you've got to like go to different destinations and pick up people, and it's like kind of like a road rage scenario. Well, basically Simpsons actually copied this concept and brought out a similar game called Simpsons Road Rage, and obviously instead of Crazy Taxi, you drive in like Simpsons vehicles, like playing cars, you use Simpsons characters, and there's like loads of traffic on the road you've got to avoid and things. And basically Sega thought that Simpsons was copying their concept and it was too much alike Crazy Taxi, so they actually decided to copyright and file a lawsuit on Simpsons Road Rage. But the thing that you have to actually understand is this was settled outside of court, so we don't really know the outcome of stuff, but you know that Simpsons probably had to pay some fat stacks to Sega to actually save themselves from this. But I don't know, in my opinion this game actually was pretty fun. It looks pretty good, it looks like it'd be fun, and you know that the Simpsons games have a great history of actually being really fun. For one, in my opinion, one of the best games of all time, Simpsons Hit and Run. Crazy childhood game, that game was so damn good. And I'm guessing that Simpsons Road Rage must have been as good as Simpsons Hit and Run, because that game was absolutely awesome. So I'm just going to be showing you a screenshot here on screen of Road Rage. As you can see, the concept's pretty similar to Crazy Taxi, but I don't know. I can understand why they thought it was a copy, but it's definitely not one of the two Shameless ones on here. So that's all of the Shameless video game rip-offs for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was kind of like a unique one. I had quite a lot of fun actually explaining these and going in depth and talking about these like weird like foreign rip-offs. But if you guys enjoyed the video, slap a like, leave a comment below what your favourite ripoff was, and if you've actually played any of these games, and also let me know below if you want me to come back with a part 2, because I'm thinking about actually showing off some of the more crazier ones in a second part to this video, but I'm not going to make it unless you guys actually enjoyed the first part and actually want it. So definitely let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this. Like the video because it helps with the traction and it helps to promote the video and the channel. And subscribe if you want daily gaming videos and videos like this in the future. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Damn, son.
Pack it up, pack it in, let me begin. I came to win, battle me, that's a sin. I won't tell a sack up, punk, you better back up. Try and play the role